If you're not grinding, don't expect to be the best. That's the simple truth most people don't want to hear. Everyone says they want success, but how many are actually putting in the work day after day? Ask yourself this: are you really pushing yourself as hard as you say you want it, or are you waiting for results without the effort that makes them possible? Being the best at anything, your career, your health, your goals, takes consistent work when others are resting, discipline when others are distracted, and action when others are only talking. In this video, we're going to strip away excuses and talk about what it actually takes to stand out, to win, and to create the life you say you want. If you've been holding back, this is your wake-up call. Stay with me, because by the end, you'll see why grinding daily isn't optional. It's required. Number 1, push yourself daily to outwork those who settle. If you want to rise above average, if you want to be among the very best, then you cannot afford to do what most people do. Most people settle. They stop when it gets uncomfortable. They pause when it gets tiring. They slow down when no one is watching. And that is why so few ever reach the top in their field, in their business, or in their life. If you want something different, if you want something extraordinary, then you have to push yourself daily to outwork those who settle. That is the price, and it cannot be avoided. Think about the reality of it. Every day, you are making choices that shape where you will end up. If you choose comfort, if you choose the easy path, you join the crowd that has accepted average. But if you choose to go further, if you choose to study longer, practice harder, wake up earlier, and refuse to quit when others do, you put yourself in the category of those who are prepared for greatness. And it is not because you were born special. It is because you chose to demand more of yourself. Now, this idea of outworking others is not about competing in anger or jealousy. It is about setting a standard for yourself that is higher than what most are willing to maintain. Ask yourself honestly, are you satisfied with working at the same level as the person next to you? Are you fine with putting in just enough to get by? Or do you want to look back one day and know that you gave everything you had, that you didn't stop short, that you didn't leave your potential unused? That answer determines the path you take from here. Pushing yourself daily is not about one dramatic act of effort. It is about the small choices, repeated with discipline. It is waking up when the alarm rings and resisting the urge to stay in bed. It is finishing the work you promised yourself, even when you feel tired. It is practicing the same skill again and again until it becomes second nature. These are not glamorous moments, but they are the real difference between settling and rising. Every time you choose effort over ease, you separate yourself from those who give up too soon. You must decide how much you are willing to pay for your future. The world does not hand out excellence freely. The world rewards persistence, consistency, and sweat. If you want to be a leader, if you want to be remembered, if you want to be trusted and admired, then you cannot put in half the work and expect full results. Life simply does not work that way. People notice who shows up, who delivers, who doesn't back away from the difficult tasks. That reputation builds over time, and once you have it, doors open that never open for those who settle. Think of the feeling you get when you have pushed through a hard day. Your body is tired, but your mind is alive with satisfaction. You know you didn't quit. You know you gave your best. That feeling is worth more than comfort, because it tells you you're growing. It tells you you're moving towards something bigger, and growth is what keeps life exciting. Settling, on the other hand, feels comfortable in the moment, but it brings regret later. It leaves you wondering what could have been if you had just pushed harder. To outwork those who settle, you must create standards for yourself that are not negotiable. For example, decide how many hours you will dedicate to your craft each day, and follow through no matter what. Decide what habits are essential for your growth, and do not compromise them even when distractions tempt you. Average people give in to mood. They say they don't feel like it today. But those who become the best work regardless of mood, because they know feelings change, but results remain. Every day is a test of discipline. Someone out there wants the same dream you want. They are working for it right now. If you choose rest while they choose effort, if you choose distraction while they choose focus, they will eventually pass you. It is not about talent alone. Many people with less natural ability surpass those with greater talent, simply because they worked harder and stayed consistent. So the question is, are you willing to be the one who keeps going after others? You will face resistance. Your mind will try to convince you that you have done enough. Your body will beg for comfort. People around you may even question why you are working so hard. They may tell you to slow down, to relax, to settle for good enough. But only you know what you want. If being the best truly matters to you, then you cannot accept their advice. You have to hold your ground and keep moving forward. That strength of will is what builds champions in every field. This is not about working blindly without purpose. It is about aligning your daily grind with a clear vision. Know what you are chasing. Know why it matters. Then each time you push yourself, you are not just working hard. You are working smart toward a goal that gives meaning to your effort. Without vision, effort feels like punishment. With vision, effort feels like investment. That difference keeps you motivated when the days are long. Push yourself daily, because each day you push is a day you grow. Growth compounds over time. One day of hard work may not change your life, but 100 days of consistent effort will change the way you think, the way you act, and the way others see you. And 1,000 days of consistent effort will put you in a place few ever reach. That is how you outwork those who settle, not by a single leap, but by daily steps taken with discipline. You must also protect your mind. Outworking others is not only physical, it is mental. Study more, read more, learn more than those around you. Stay curious while others are satisfied. Question your weaknesses and correct them while others ignore theirs. Build a sharper mind, because knowledge combined with effort creates unstoppable strength. When you know more and do more, you cannot be ignored. The truth is that very few people will ever choose this path. Most people prefer comfort over challenge. That is why the top is not crowded. And that is why you have an opportunity. If you are willing to demand more of yourself, if you are willing to push daily, you will stand out, because so few are willing to do it. But the choice is yours. No one else can make it for you. Remember this, you are in control of how far you go. Settling is easy, but it is the road to mediocrity. Pushing is hard, but it is the road to greatness. You cannot have both. You must choose. And when you choose to push, when you choose to outwork, you create a life of strength, pride, and influence. Others may settle, but you don't have to. You can rise above, but it begins with daily action. So tomorrow when you wake up, the test begins again. Will you settle or will you push? Will you give average effort or will you demand more? Each decision shapes your future. Each effort builds your strength. And if you keep choosing to push, day after day, year after year, you will earn the right to be called the best. That is the law of life. Those who work harder, who stay disciplined, who refuse to settle, rise above. If you want to be one of them, start now and do not stop. Push yourself daily to outwork those who settle, and your life will reflect the greatness you demanded from yourself. Number 2, train your body and mind with consistent hard effort. Strength is built, not given, and it begins with the choice to train your body and your mind with consistent hard effort every single day. If you want to live a life of influence, if you want to have control over your direction, then you must accept that both your physical and mental strength determine how far you can go. Without training the body, your energy is low and your actions are weak. Without training the mind, your focus is scattered and your decisions are poor. But when you build both together, you give yourself the tools to handle challenges, seize opportunities, and rise above the ordinary. Most people treat their body casually. They eat whatever is easy, they move only when necessary, and they rest more than they exert. Then they wonder why they feel sluggish, why their health declines, why their energy fades before the day is done. That is the cost of neglect. The body demands consistent effort if you expect it to perform. Training is not punishment, it is preparation. Every time you push your muscles, every time you demand more from your stamina, you are equipping yourself to face the demands of life with strength instead of weakness. But the body alone is not enough. You must also train your mind. An untrained mind accepts distractions, avoids challenges, and resists growth. A trained mind, however, stays sharp, asks questions, thinks critically, and seeks out solutions. The difference between those who succeed and those who drift often comes down to how much effort was invested in shaping their thinking. Reading, studying, reflecting, writing, learning from mentors. These are not optional activities if you want to stay ahead. Just as lifting weights strengthens your arms, filling your mind with knowledge and discipline strengthens your decisions. Consistency is the real key. Training once and expecting results is a fantasy. Doing a workout one day and skipping the next does not build stamina. Reading a book today and ignoring your growth for months does not build wisdom. What transforms you is repeated effort. The routine of showing up day after day, no matter how you feel, builds a level of strength that cannot be taken away. And that consistency is what separates those who improve from those who remain stuck. Effort must be honest. You cannot cheat your way into growth. Cutting corners in exercise leaves you weak. Pretending to learn without real focus leaves your mind confused. Hard effort means giving full attention to the task, even when it feels uncomfortable. That discomfort is not a signal to stop, it is proof that you are stretching your capacity. The body grows when it is challenged, not when it is idle. The mind sharpens when it wrestles with complex ideas, not when it coasts in simplicity. So instead of avoiding the hard work, embrace it as the very thing that makes you stronger. The reward for this discipline is control over your future. A strong body gives you the endurance to chase opportunities without being held back by fatigue. A trained mind gives you clarity when others panic, direction when others are lost, and resilience when others collapse. Together, they create a foundation that allows you to pursue bigger goals and handle the pressure that comes with them. People often fail not because they lack opportunity, but because they lack the strength, physical and mental, to sustain the opportunity once it arrives. Training ensures that when the door opens, you are ready to walk through it with confidence. There is also a powerful emotional side to training both body and mind. When you exercise regularly, your confidence grows because you know you have command over yourself. When you study consistently, your self-respect rises because you see yourself improving in knowledge and understanding. These feelings are not abstract. They are real and they influence how you interact with the world. People can sense when someone carries strength and clarity. They listen more, they respect more, and they trust more. And that presence can open doors that remain closed to those who never took the time to train. You must also understand that the journey is not quick. Training is a lifelong process. There will be days when you feel progress is slow, days when you question whether it is worth it. But those are the days that matter most, because staying committed through difficulty builds a character that cannot be easily shaken. Every season of consistent effort builds another layer of resilience. Over years, that resilience becomes part of who you are. While others give up at the first sign of challenge, you keep moving forward because you have trained yourself to persist. Discipline in one area often influences the other. If you take control of your body through fitness and nutrition, you often find your mind becoming sharper and more focused. If you train your mind to be disciplined in reading and learning, you often find it easier to apply discipline to your physical routines. The two are connected. Ignoring one leaves a gap in your foundation. Balancing both creates harmony and strength that radiates into every area of life. Ask yourself right now, are you satisfied with the current strength of your body? Are you proud of the sharpness of your mind? If not, what daily actions are you willing to commit to in order to change that? Because nothing shifts by accident. Progress is not handed to you. It is created by design, and design comes from daily effort. A body that is trained reflects the hours of sweat invested. A mind that is trained reflects the hours of reading, reflection, and practice. These investments compound until the results become undeniable. The greatest danger is comfort. Comfort tells you to rest when you should push. Comfort convinces you to settle for good enough when you are capable of more. Comfort whispers that you can skip today and make up for it tomorrow. But tomorrow never erases today's neglect. Each day of missed effort adds up until years have passed and regret is heavier than any weight you could have lifted. To avoid that regret, you must face comfort head-on and replace it with commitment. Those who succeed in the highest arenas, whether in business, leadership, or personal life, are not necessarily the most talented. They are the ones who made training their body and mind a daily priority. They had the same distractions, the same temptations, the same challenges as everyone else, but they chose to stay disciplined. They chose hard effort when others chose ease. That decision, repeated over years, is what put them in positions of influence. Training is the ultimate act of self-respect. It says, I value my potential enough to build it. It is not about proving something to others, though others will notice. It is about proving something to yourself. When you train consistently, you are making a statement that you are not willing to waste the abilities you were given, that you are not content to remain average, that you are determined to grow into the strongest version of yourself. So the message is simple and direct. Train your body and mind with consistent hard effort. Do not wait till the perfect time, because it will never come. Do not wait until you feel motivated, because motivation fades. Start where you are, use what you have, and build step by step. Over time, the small steps add up to massive progress. And when you look back, you will see how far you have come. Not because of luck, not because of chance, but because of daily discipline. Your future self is counting on the choices you make today. Build strength now, build clarity now, build endurance now. And when challenges come, you will not be shaken. Instead, you will rise to meet them with the power you have earned through training. That is the path to a life of influence, a life of achievement, and a life free of regret. Number 3, commit to early mornings and late nights of discipline. The hours you choose when others are asleep often decide how far you rise in life. Early mornings and late nights are not about exhausting yourself. They are about carving out the time to create discipline that sets you apart from the crowd. Most people live their days reacting to what comes at them, waking up just in time to rush through, going to bed without purpose, and letting the hours slip by unnoticed. But those who commit to early mornings and late nights of discipline use that quiet space to build themselves, to plan, to learn, to work on what matters most before the world demands their attention. The discipline of an early morning begins the moment you decide that your goals are more important than another hour of sleep. It is not always easy, but it is powerful. Rising before most people forces you to take ownership of your day. The silence of those early hours gives you focus. You can read, exercise, write, or organize your priorities without distractions. That single choice changes your energy and your direction. By the time others are still waking up, you have already invested in yourself. That builds confidence and momentum that carries through the rest of the day. Late nights of discipline serve a different purpose. They are about finishing strong, closing the day with intention instead of letting it fade away. Instead of wasting those final hours in meaningless distractions, you use them to review what you achieved, to practice skills, to prepare for tomorrow, or to complete the tasks you promised yourself. Discipline at night ensures you end the day with control rather than regret. It is the difference between going to bed with pride or going to bed with guilt. What makes these hours so valuable is that they belong to you completely. The phone is quieter, fewer people demand your time, and interruptions are rare. In the morning, you set the tone. At night, you seal the lesson. Together, they frame your entire day with strength. Discipline in those hours shapes not just your schedule, but your identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who chooses responsibility over convenience, someone who values progress over comfort, and that identity is the seed of long-term success. This is not about burning yourself out. It is about structure. Early mornings and late nights create space for focus, while the rest of the world is caught in noise. If you guard those hours, you build an advantage that compounds daily. Over months and years, those extra hours turn into mastery, into knowledge, into habits that most people never develop because they chose the path of least resistance. Imagine what could happen if you added just 2 disciplined hours to each day. 1 in the morning, 1 at night. In a week, that is 14 hours. In a month, that is more than 50 hours. In a year, it is hundreds of hours spent building your future. While others wasted theirs, that extra time could mean reading dozens of books, learning new skills, improving your health, or building a business. The numbers prove the value, but the true reward is in the character you shape by sticking to the commitment. Discipline is often judged in the small choices. Do you get out of bed when the alarm rings, or do you hit snooze and break a promise to yourself? Do you close the day by reviewing your progress, or do you drift into sleep without direction? These choices may look small, but they accumulate into habits, and habits decide the path of your life. The discipline of mornings and nights builds habits of self-respect, clarity, and consistency that no one can take away from you. There will be resistance. The bed will feel too comfortable. The distractions at night will feel too tempting. People will tell you it is fine to take it easy. And sometimes you may even feel alone in your effort, because few people are willing to make these sacrifices. But that is the point. The road to excellence is not meant to be crowded. You are not aiming to be like everyone else. You are aiming to be better than you were yesterday. And discipline in those extra hours is one of the surest ways to make that happen. There is also a psychological power in knowing you do what others will not. Waking up early gives you an edge because you see progress while others are still asleep. Staying disciplined at night gives you peace because you know you ended the day with purpose. That sense of personal victory builds momentum, and momentum builds confidence. Confidence fuels more action, and action creates results. This cycle begins with a simple choice. Commit to those hours with discipline. Think about the feeling of walking into the day already prepared. Instead of rushing, you move with clarity. Instead of reacting, you lead. That sense of control comes only when you have given yourself time in the morning to align your priorities. And think about the feeling of closing the night, knowing you used your hours well. You rest easier because you honored your commitments. These emotional rewards are just as important as the practical ones, because they strengthen your belief that you can trust yourself to follow through. Discipline in mornings and nights is also a test of how serious you are about your goals. Anyone can talk about wanting success. Anyone can dream about a better life. But only those who are willing to sacrifice comfort and manage their time prove that they are committed. Your actions in those hours speak louder than any words. They reveal to you and to the world whether your ambitions are real or just wishes. The most successful people in any area share this trait. They protect their mornings, they protect their nights. They understand that time is limited, and once wasted, it cannot be recovered. They do not wait for perfect conditions to begin. They create conditions by disciplining their schedule. And while others blame lack of time, they quietly use the same 24 hours more effectively. That is why they rise higher. If you want to change your life, you must change how you use your time. No secret formula, no shortcuts, just discipline. Waking early and staying disciplined late is not glamorous, but it is effective. And in the end, results are what matter. You will not be judged by how easy your routine was, but by the strength of what you achieved. So the challenge is clear. Make those hours non-negotiable. Choose to rise early, not for punishment, but for preparation. Choose to close your nights with discipline, not with waste. Build routines that sharpen you in those quiet hours. Train your mind with study. Train your body with movement, and direct your focus toward what matters most. Over time, these hours will shape your future in ways you cannot yet see. The choice is yours. Comfort is always available, but it gives nothing lasting. Discipline demands effort, but it returns freedom, confidence, and success. Early mornings and late nights are the battleground where that choice is tested. Commit to them, and you will stand taller, move stronger, and achieve more than you thought possible. Number 4, build skills every day until you stand out. If you want to rise above the noise and be remembered, you must build skills every single day until you stand out. Nothing will separate you from the crowd more than the abilities you sharpen and the knowledge you master through daily practice. In a world where most people settle for being average, your skills are the currency that buys you opportunities, respect, and influence. The truth is that talent can give you a head start, but it is skill that determines who lasts, who grows, and who becomes a leader worth following. The mistake many people make is believing that skill is fixed, that you either have it or you do not. That belief keeps them stuck in mediocrity. Skills are built like muscles, through daily repetition, deliberate practice, and consistent attention. Every day you neglect to build them, you lose ground. Every day you commit to them, you expand your value. The market rewards skill. People trust those who are competent. Opportunities find those who prove they can deliver with excellence. Building skills daily requires humility. You must accept that you do not know enough yet, that there is more to learn, and that you can always improve. Too many people let pride hold them back, thinking they are already good enough. But good enough is the enemy of progress. The best in any field keep learning, keep adjusting, keep refining their craft. They treat every day as a chance to move one step closer to mastery. That attitude, more than natural ability, is what sets them apart. There is a simple test for whether you are serious about success. Look at your schedule. Does it include time for skill development, or is it filled only with maintenance, entertainment, and distractions? If your day does not include deliberate learning, you are not moving forward. Progress does not happen by accident. It comes from setting aside hours to read, to practice, to study, to seek feedback, and to challenge yourself in ways that stretch your ability. Every skill you build is like adding a tool to your toolbox. With more tools, you can solve more problems, create more solutions, and adapt to more situations. Without skills, you are limited, dependent on others, and unable to seize opportunities when they come. Imagine being offered a position, a project, or a chance to lead, but turning it down because you lack the ability. That moment of regret can be avoided if you prepare in advance by training yourself daily. Standing out does not happen by blending in with what everyone else does. Most people do just enough to keep their place, never stretching beyond their comfort zone. That is why average is crowded. The way to stand out is to do what others ignore, to invest in yourself long after the excitement wears off, and to demand improvement even when no one is watching. Over time, the gap between you and those who remain stagnant becomes undeniable. Building skills is not limited to professional abilities. It includes communication, leadership, discipline, and emotional control. These are life skills that amplify everything else. You may be talented at your craft, but if you cannot communicate, you remain invisible. You may know your field well, but if you lack discipline, your results remain inconsistent. Every skill compounds with others, making you more complete, more reliable, and more capable than those who ignored the basic. Daily improvement requires patience. You will not see transformation overnight. Some days, the progress will feel invisible, but the small steps matter. 1 page of reading each day adds up to books in a year. 15 minutes of practice daily turns into mastery over months. Writing a little each day can sharpen your thinking dramatically over time. The key is not speed, but consistency. The question is not how much you did today, but whether you did something at all. Feedback is a powerful tool in building skills. Practicing alone is valuable, but exposing your work to criticism accelerates growth. Many avoid feedback because it hurts their pride, but without it, blind spots remain. Seeking input from mentors, peers, or even critics shows that you are committed to excellence rather than comfort. Every correction makes you stronger. Every mistake is a lesson, and every challenge is a chance to sharpen your edge. There will be days when you feel tempted to skip the practice, to ignore the study, to choose distraction instead. That is the moment where you must remind yourself of the bigger picture. Are you working just to pass fives, or are you working to build a life that stands out? Those who stand out are not necessarily smarter or luckier. They are simply the ones who refused to stop when others did. They stayed on course, brick by brick, until the wall of skill they built became impossible to ignore. You also have to be intentional about the skills you choose. Not all skills carry equal weight. Identify what will bring the greatest value to your goals, your career, and your future. Focus your effort there. Too many people scatter their attention dabbling in everything but mastering nothing. Excellence comes from concentration. Pick the few areas that matter most, then give them your full effort every single day. That is how you build rare and valuable skills that make you indispensable. The world notices competence. People are drawn to those who deliver with quality. Employers promote them. Clients return to them. Communities respect them. When you stand out because of your skills, you never have to beg opportunities. They find you. You never have to convince others of your worth. Your results speak for you. That is the real power of skill. It removes the need for constant self-promotion, because excellence is visible. Consider also how skills give you independence. If you know how to solve problems, you are less dependent on others to rescue you. If you know how to learn quickly, you can adapt to changes while others panic. If you know how to lead, you can step forward when leadership is missing. Every skill you acquire reduces your vulnerability and increases your freedom. That freedom is one of the greatest rewards of daily discipline. This commitment also influences how you see yourself. Each time you build a new ability, your confidence grows. You begin to trust your capacity. You stop doubting whether you can handle challenges, because you know you have proven it in practice. That inner confidence changes how you speak, how you carry yourself, and how others respond to you. Skill and confidence reinforce each other until you become someone who naturally commands attention. Remember that life is competitive, whether we like it or not. There are limited spots at the top. There are limited opportunities that truly matter. And the only way to secure them is to outgrow the competition. You cannot rely on excuses, luck, or connections alone. In the long run, skills win. The question is not whether you have potential, but whether you are willing to build it daily until it becomes undeniable. So commit yourself now. Read every day. Practice deliberately. Write down lessons. Seek mentors. Ask for feedback. Push yourself to learn skills that scare you, because those are the ones that expand your limits. Do not waste another day waiting for change. Build it yourself, piece by piece, through effort that compounds into mastery. One day, people will wonder how you became so capable, how you earned so much respect, and how you stood out among so many. And the answer will be simple. You built skills every day until you did. Number 5, refuse excuses and replace them with focused actions. Excuses will never build your future. Only actions will. And until you refuse excuses completely and replace them with focused actions, your goals will remain out of reach. Every person has reasons they could point to: too tired, too busy, not enough money, not enough time, bad luck, unfair circumstances. But excuses never improve a life. They may bring comfort in the moment, but they steal results in the long run. The hard truth is that you cannot hold on to excuses and success at the same time. You must choose which one you value more. Focused action is what separates dreamers from achievers. It is not about waiting until conditions are perfect or until you feel motivated. It is about doing the work anyway, doing it with clarity and making progress step by step. Many waste years explaining why they are not where they want to be instead of taking even one small step forward. Every excuse delays growth, while every action brings you closer to what you want. If you want freedom, if you want respect, if you want results, then excuses must be rejected. The moment they appear, the mind will always try to justify inaction. It will tell you that today is not the right day, that you are not ready, that you can start tomorrow. But those thoughts are lies designed to protect you. You discomfort. If you give in to them, they become stronger, and soon excuses run your life. The only way to break this cycle is to act in spite of them. When the excuse says you can't, prove it wrong by moving forward anyway. That is how discipline is built, and that is how confidence is born. Focused actions are not random. They are intentional steps aimed directly at your goals. Too often people stay busy without being effective. They confuse activity with progress. They spend hours on tasks that do not move them closer to their vision, then use that busyness as an excuse for why they are not further ahead. Focus means identifying what truly matters, cutting out distractions, and directing your energy where it counts. 1 hour of focused effort can be worth more than 10 hours of scattered activity. Refusing excuses also means taking full responsibility for your life. This is not easy, but it is necessary. As long as you blame the economy, your upbringing, your environment, or the actions of others, you give away your power. Responsibility is not about ignoring difficulties. It is about owning your response to them. Many people face hardship, but only those who refuse excuses and act with focus rise above it. Taking responsibility places the control back in your hands, and once you hold it, you can shape your future deliberately. Excuses often sound reasonable. They feel valid because they point to real obstacles. But obstacles are not the problem. The refusal to act is the problem. History is full of people who started with less than you, faced greater challenges than you, and still found a way forward. They did not allow excuses to dictate their future. They looked at the same difficulties others complained about and asked, what action can I take anyway? That mindset is what creates breakthroughs. Focused actions also require courage. Moving forward means leaving the comfort zone behind. It means taking risks, trying new things, and sometimes facing failure. But failure is not final. Every failure contains a lesson that makes you stronger, if you keep moving. Excuses, on the other hand, prevent you from even trying, which means you learn nothing and stay stuck. If you want to grow, you must be willing to trade the safety of excuses for the risk of action. There is an emotional cost to excuses that many overlook. Each time you make an excuse, you weaken your belief in yourself. You begin to doubt your ability. You tell yourself a story that you are not capable, not ready, not strong enough. Over time, those stories create a prison of limitation. Focused action reverses that. Each time you follow through, no matter how small, you strengthen trust in yourself. You prove that you can count on you, and that belief becomes the foundation for bigger victories. To live without excuses, you must build clarity. Know what you want, write it down, and define the steps. When your goals are vague, excuses slip in easily, because there is no standard to measure against. But when you have clear objectives, you can hold yourself accountable. Ask daily, what specific actions did I take toward my goal? If the answer is nothing, then excuses are running your life. If the answer is progress, no matter how small, then you are moving in the right direction. Excuses often come disguised as waiting for the right moment. People wait for more money, more time, more support, more certainty, but the right moment never arrives. Circumstances will always be imperfect. Those who succeed are the ones who act with what they have, where they are, and improve along the way. Refusing excuses means accepting that now is the only time you control, and using it wisely. Focused action is about building momentum. The first step may feel heavy, but once you move, energy follows. Each completed action gives you the motivation to do another. Excuses keep you frozen, but action creates motion, and motion makes success possible. The secret is to begin. Once you begin, progress builds itself. Every excuse you refuse is a victory. Every action you take is an investment. Over time, these choices compound into a life of results. Others may complain about unfairness, lack of luck, or missed opportunities. But you will have proof that action works, and when results come, they silence excuses permanently. So commit yourself fully. Refuse to accept excuses from your mind or from others. When an excuse appears, replace it instantly with the question, what action can I take right now? Then take it, even if it is small. That habit transforms lives. Over days, weeks, and years, it separates those who live with regret from those who live with fulfillment. Your life is built by choices. Excuses waste them, actions use them, If you want to achieve, if you want to be respected, if you want to live with pride, then you must stop explaining why you cannot and start proving what you can. The discipline of focused action will take you further than talent, luck, or chance ever will. Excuses weaken you, but action strengthens you. The challenge is real, but so is the reward. Trade excuses for effort. Trade hesitation for action. Trade comfort for progress. And soon you will see results that others only talk about. That is the power of refusing excuses and replacing them with focused actions. It puts your future back in your hands and ensures that you live a life that matters. Number 6, challenge your comfort zone and demand more from yourself. Greatness begins the moment you decide that staying where you are is no longer acceptable, and that reaching for more is not a choice, but a responsibility. Growth never comes from comfort, because comfort locks you in place and convinces you that good enough is enough. If you want to discover who you really are and what you are capable of achieving, you must make the decision to stretch yourself beyond what feels easy and safe. The life you want will not come to you while you sit in the familiar. It demands that you rise and take on challenges that make you question your strength, your patience, and your willpower. Every time you push beyond the limits you once thought defined you, you build a new standard for yourself and a new expectation of what you can handle. The truth is, the people who create lasting results in their lives are not necessarily the smartest or the most talented, but they are the ones who continually demand more from themselves, even when no one else is watching. They set the alarm earlier, they stay at the desk longer, they choose the extra practice, and they commit to discomfort because they know that is where growth is forged. When you challenge your comfort zone, you prove to yourself that you can survive difficulty and you can endure struggle. And once you know that, you can take on anything. Think about it. Comfort is where most people live, but excellence is where only the few choose to walk. You cannot be exceptional while clinging to routines that never make you sweat, never test your mind, and never stretch your courage. If you refuse to go further, life will quietly pass you by and hand the rewards to those who dared to endure a little more. Every day presents you with the chance to either repeat the same cycle or to break it by choosing actions that scare you, challenge you, or demand more effort than yesterday. Growth is a decision, and that decision is renewed every single day. Demanding more from yourself does not always mean chasing enormous leaps. It often means taking one more step when you want to stop, doing one more repetition when your body says it is enough, reading one more page when your mind is ready to quit, or practicing a skill until you no longer stumble. These small acts stacked together separate the average from the excellent. The comfort zone whispers that you deserve a break, that it is fine to relax, that someone else is already ahead, so why bother? But the inner voice that craves growth tells you that you can do more, that the next level is waiting, and that strength is earned through consistency, not convenient. Your future is shaped by the courage you show today. If you always choose comfort, you will always live with regret. If you choose challenge, you will live with strength. Most people underestimate how much they can handle because they stop before the real test begins. The pain of stretching yourself passes, but the pride of winning against your own limits stays with you forever. You will never know your true capacity until you demand more than what feels comfortable. Ask yourself honestly, have you been avoiding challenges because they seem too heavy, or because you are afraid of failing? Fear keeps you locked in comfort. Failure is not the enemy. Refusing to try is. Every mistake you make in pursuit of growth is teaching you something vital. Every failure is preparing you for the strength you will need when the bigger opportunities arrive. If you never challenge yourself, you will never have the foundation to carry the weight of your own dreams. Discipline is what unlocks the next version of you. It is choosing to work when others rest, choosing to learn when others scroll, choosing to build habits that bring you closer to your goals while others waste hours in distractions. The stronger you become in your discipline, the easier it becomes to face discomfort without hesitation. What once felt impossible will one day feel natural, because you trained yourself to live beyond comfort. Imagine your life 5 years from now. If you keep doing only what is easy, you will be the same person, with the same problems, the same limitations, and the same regrets. Now imagine your life 5 years from now. If every single day you did one thing that demanded more of you, one thing that stretched you beyond comfort, one thing that proved you could rise above laziness, excuses, and fear. The difference between those two futures is massive, and the choice between them is made today in the small moments of decision. Comfort can feel safe, but it steals your potential without warning. The risk of staying the same is greater than the risk of failing while you try. Every time you choose challenge over comfort, you prove to yourself that you are serious about your growth, your goals, and your future. That proof builds confidence, and confidence builds momentum. Soon, the things that once scared you will become your new normal, and you will look back wondering why you ever hesitated to begin. If you want respect, if you want achievement, if you want to stand among the best, you must challenge your comfort zone and demand more from yourself daily. Nothing less will do. The world rewards those who are willing to push further, who refuse to stop at average, and who choose courage over ease. So make the decision today. Stop waiting for the perfect time. Stop waiting for comfort, and start demanding more from yourself than ever before. That decision alone could be the turning point of your life. Do not settle. Do not stop. Do not stop. Do not give in to the easy road. Demand more, push further, and embrace the challenge. Because when you look back, you will realize the hard path built the strongest version of you, and that version is capable of achieving everything you have ever dreamed of. Number 7, sacrifice distractions today to secure greatness tomorrow. The difference between those who reach greatness and those who fall short is often found in the ability to say no to what steals time, focus, and energy in the present. Every dream requires a cost, and the price is almost always the sacrifice of distractions that look harmless today, but slowly eat away at your future. If you want to build a life that stands as proof of your commitment and discipline, you cannot afford to waste precious hours on activities that give you nothing in return. Greatness is built by those who have the courage to delay immediate pleasure in order to secure long-term reward. The distractions around you are endless. They call for your attention in the form of entertainment, endless scrolling, gossip, comfort, and habits that may feel satisfying in the moment but lead nowhere. You cannot expect to build something extraordinary while dividing your time between your goals and meaningless interruptions. Every hour lost to distractions is an hour stolen from your progress. Time will never come back, and the clock does not pause because you chose to entertain yourself instead of building the foundation of your future. Sacrifice is not about living without joy. It is about choosing the kind of joy that lasts. When you discipline yourself to put aside distractions, you create space for focus, learning, and action. While others drift through their days consumed by noise, you stay locked on your vision, and that separation is what allows you to rise above the ordinary. The ability to remove what is unnecessary is just as important as the ability to pursue what is essential. Ask yourself, what is keeping you from giving your best energy to your goals? Is it the television that steals hours of your night? The constant notifications that pull you from deep work? The idle conversations that go nowhere? Or the habits that leave you drained instead of empowered? Identifying distractions is the first step, but having the discipline to sacrifice them is where transformation begins. You cannot expect to hold on to comfort and reach greatness at the same time. One must be sacrificed for the other. When you choose discipline over distraction, you are not just avoiding waste. You are sharpening your mind to operate with clarity and precision. You train yourself to recognize what truly matters and to give it the focus it deserves. The people who achieve extraordinary results are rarely the most gifted, but they are always the most disciplined with their attention. They refuse to be controlled by impulses, and they understand that every minute counts. Distractions often come dressed as rest, as fun, or as harmless habits. But when added up, they steal entire years of potential. Imagine how far you would go if the time you spent on meaningless activities was redirected into learning, building, and improving. That is the hidden cost most people ignore, and it is the reason why their goals remain dreams instead of reality. Greatness requires awareness, and awareness requires honesty with yourself. If you want something badly enough, you must be willing to give up what keeps you from it. Sacrificing distractions today may feel uncomfortable, but that discomfort is the birthplace of future freedom. The discipline you build now allows you to enjoy the rewards later, without regret. The person who works when others waste time gains opportunities that the distracted will never see. The habits you practice today will shape the life you live tomorrow, and the price of discipline is far lighter than the weight of regret. Every great achievement in history was born from sacrifice. Athletes who rise to the top cut away social distractions to give everything to training. Entrepreneurs who build empires eliminate wasted hours and invest every ounce of energy into creating. Writers, artists, and leaders who shaped history all learned to silence the noise around them in order to listen to the voice of purpose within. If you want to stand in the company of the great, you must be willing to do the same. Discipline does not demand perfection. It demands consistency. Each time you resist a distraction, you strengthen your willpower. Each time you choose focus, you push yourself closer to your vision. Each time you say no to what doesn't serve you, you are saying yes to the life you want. The problem is not that distractions exist, The problem is when you allow them to control you. The moment you decide that your future is worth more than temporary pleasure, you begin to win the battle. Greatness is not given to the distracted. It is earned by the focused, and focus requires sacrifice. The sacrifice may feel heavy today, but the reward will make it worth it tomorrow. When you look back, you will not regret the hours you spent working on your dream, but you will regret the hours wasted on things that did not matter. The question is simple. Will you invest in your future or waste it on distractions? Right now, you have the power to choose. You can choose to continue giving in to the habits that hold you back, or you can choose to rise, cut them off, and dedicate yourself fully to your vision. The path is clear. Sacrifice distractions today to secure greatness tomorrow. Your dream is waiting, your future is calling, and your time is too valuable to waste. Number 8, stay consistent with effort even when no one watches. The true test of character is not what you do when the world applauds, but what you do when no one is paying attention. Greatness is not built in the spotlight. It is built in the quiet hours and effort feels unnoticed, and progress seems invisible. The person who can remain disciplined and consistent when there is no reward, no recognition, and no cheering audience is the one who eventually rises above everyone else. Success is the result of unseen work repeated over time, and only those who commit to that process ever taste it. When you choose to give your best even without an audience, you are proving to yourself that your standard is higher than external validation. Too many people only act when they know others are watching, but the strongest individuals hold themselves accountable. Whether the world is silent or loud, they understand that consistency is not about proving something to others. It is about building a foundation that no one can shake. Every effort you give in private is an investment, and those investments always pay dividends later. Think about the athlete who trains before the sun rises, with no cameras, no crowd, and no attention. The effort seems invisible to everyone else, but on game day, the results speak for themselves. Think about the student who studies tirelessly when friends are out enjoying themselves. No one praises the long nights of reading, but those nights show their value in the future opportunities they create. Think about the entrepreneur who works behind closed doors for years before anyone knows their name. While others question their efforts, they quietly build the habits that later produce success. This is what consistency without an audience looks like. Discipline that stands strong and silent. The truth is, the majority of the work that leads to greatness will never be seen by anyone but you. And that is where most people quit, because the human mind craves recognition. It wants validation to keep going. But if you depend on recognition to stay consistent, you will never last long enough to achieve anything meaningful. You must be able to encourage yourself when no one else does. You must be able to keep moving forward even when the results are not immediate. That is what separates the achievers from the dreamers. Consistency is not glamorous. It often feels repetitive, ordinary, and even boring. But within that repetition lies transformation. Every time you show up when it would be easier to stay comfortable, you are reshaping who you are. Every time you stay committed to your routine when no one checks on you, you are proving that your word means something. Every time you give effort without applause, you are strengthening a muscle most people never develop: self-discipline. And discipline, more than talent, more than luck, is the ultimate driver of success. You cannot expect to wake up one day and suddenly have the life you want if you are unwilling to do the daily work that builds it. The world might not see the countless times you chose to push through fatigue, or the hours spent mastering your craft, or the days you kept going despite setback. But you will see it in the long run, when opportunities come your way, when your skills rise above the average, and when your persistence pays off. The people who appear to succeed overnight have usually spent years staying consistent when nobody cares. The temptation to slow down when no one is watching is always there. It feels easier to cut corners, to procrastinate, to let yourself slide because no one will know. But every time you do that you reinforce weakness instead of strength. You train yourself to depend on circumstances instead of building internal standards. You lower your own expectations of what you are capable of. The only way to break free from that trap is to commit to giving full effort, whether or not anyone notices. This mindset builds trust in yourself. When you stay consistent behind closed doors, you develop confidence that cannot be faked. You don't need to prove anything to anyone, because you know how much work you've put in. You walk differently, speak differently, and carry yourself differently, because your consistency has made you strong from within. That kind of quiet confidence is unshakable, and people recognize it even if they cannot see the hours of effort that built it. Understand that greatness has no shortcuts. The easy path will always call you, but it will never deliver the life you want. The difficult path requires patience, resilience, and constant effort, but it rewards you with results that last. The question is, are you willing to put in the work that nobody else sees? Are you willing to wake up early, stay focused, and grind through the days when you feel invisible? Because if you are, then you are already ahead of most people, since the majority only give effort when they are watched. Stay consistent when no one cheers. Stay consistent when progress feels slow. Stay consistent when the journey feels lonely. Those are the moments that build champions. One day, the results of your hidden work will shine so brightly that the world cannot ignore them. But until then, you must be faithful to the process, devoted to the discipline, and committed to your own growth, even in silence. Your greatness is waiting, but it will not arrive by chance. It will come only through consistent effort, repeated daily, with or without recognition. So hold yourself to a higher standard. Keep showing up when it would be easier not to, and never underestimate the power of the work no one sees. That is where true success begins, and that is where you prove to yourself that you are capable of far more than you ever imagined. Number 9, measure progress honestly and correct weak habits fast. If you want real growth, you must stop lying to yourself about where you stand and face your progress with complete honesty. Too many people fail not because they lack talent, but because they refuse to measure themselves accurately. They look in the mirror and only see what they want to see instead of what is truly there. Success demands a clear evaluation of your actions, your habits, and your results. You cannot improve what you refuse to measure, and you cannot correct what you choose to ignore. Every goal you set needs proof of progress. It's not enough to hope things are working. You need evidence. If you want to get stronger, you should know exactly how much you lifted last week and how much you lifted today. If you want financial growth, you need to know where every dollar is going. If you want discipline, you must be able to track how often you kept your word versus how many times you slipped. When you measure progress honestly, you remove illusions. You see the truth for what it is, and truth is the only foundation on which real change is built. But measurement is not just about numbers. It is about reflection. It is asking yourself difficult questions. Did I really give full effort today? Or did I settle for comfort? Am I practicing habits that move me forward? Or am I entertaining behaviors that keep me stuck? Did I waste hours in distraction, or did I invest them in building my future? This level of honesty is uncomfortable, but it is necessary. Without it, you will live in excuses instead of solution. And once you recognize your weak habits, you cannot allow them to stay. Weak habits are like cracks in a wall, small at first, but if ignored, they eventually destroy the entire structure. The difference between those who rise and those who stay average is how quickly they correct mistakes. Average people notice their faults and delay action. Winners notice their faults and correct them immediately. If you know you procrastinate, fix your schedule today. If you know you waste time on meaningless entertainment, cut it down now. If you know your diet or sleep is holding you back, don't wait until your health collapses to change. Correct weak habits the moment you discover them, and you prevent them from stealing your potential. You must also learn to measure progress without comparing yourself to others. Comparison clouds judgment. It makes you chase someone else's journey instead of mastering your own. The goal is not to outdo others. It is to be better than you were yesterday. If yesterday you took 1 step, today take 2. If last month you made small progress, this month make more. Honest measurement is not about perfection. It is about consistent improvement. Small corrections compound into massive results when applied consistently. Think about a pilot flying across the ocean. If the plane drifts just a few degrees off course and no correction is made, it will end up thousands of miles away from its destination. But if the pilot checks progress constantly and corrects errors quickly, the plane always reaches its goal. Your life works the same way. One unchecked habit can drift you off course. One ignored weakness can multiply into a bigger problem. But with regular measurement and fast correction, you keep yourself aligned with where you want to go. The most successful people in any field are relentless about feedback. Athletes study their performance after every game to see where they went wrong. Business leaders analyze data daily to correct failing strategies. Musicians and artists review their error to find what can be improved. This is not self-criticism. It is self-mastery. They understand that progress is not automatic. Progress comes from seeing where you are, adjusting what is wrong, and repeating the process until excellence becomes natural. Do not fall into the trap of ignoring weaknesses because they are uncomfortable to face. Weaknesses ignored today become regrets tomorrow. If you continue habits that hurt your health, your body will eventually remind you of the cost. If you continue habits that waste your money, your finances will eventually expose the truth. If you continue habits that damage your focus, your results will eventually reveal the gap. The time to change is not tomorrow. It is now. The faster you correct, the faster you grow. Honest measurement also creates discipline. When you track your progress daily, you build a standard for yourself. You no longer rely on vague feelings like "I think I did enough." You have proof of what you did and what you didn't do. And when you have proof, excuses lose power. Numbers do not lie. Records do not lie. The truth is undeniable, and when you face it, you are forced to act. This is why journaling, tracking, or recording progress is so powerful. It forces you to confront the reality of your habits. Writing down what you eat reveals patterns you ignore. Recording your spending exposes waste you deny. Documenting your effort shows you how consistent you really are. Most people never do this, which is why they stay stuck in cycles of disappointment. But when you take responsibility for measuring, you gain control over your growth. The person who builds greatness is not the one who avoids mistakes, but the one who corrects them faster than everyone else. You will stumble, you will fall short, and you will make errors. But if you hear honestly and act immediately, those errors will not define you. They will shape you into someone somewhere, stronger and more prepared for success. The longer you ignore weakness, the heavier the price becomes. The sooner you correct it, the lighter your path becomes. Your journey is a constant cycle of measurement, correction, and improvement. That is the system of growth. That is the discipline of champions. So stop lying to yourself, stop delaying change, and start facing your reality with full honesty. Every day is a new chance to evaluate your progress and adjust what is broken. If you commit to this process, there is no limit to how far you can go. Your future depends on the choices you make today. Choose to measure truthfully. Choose to fix weaknesses quickly. Choose to live with accountability instead of excuses. Because the person who is brutally honest about their progress and fearless about correcting their habits is the one who always reaches higher levels of success. Number 10. Choose relentless action over empty wishes. Every day. The difference between people who dream of a better life and people who actually create one is simple. One group wishes, the other group acts. Wishing does not build strength, wealth, or discipline. Wishing does not transform your body, sharpen your mind, or expand your opportunities. Only relentless action does that. You can sit for years hoping your life changes, or you can take daily steps that guarantee it changes. The choice is always in your hands, and your results are proof of which one you choose. Every day presents you with two doors. One door is filled with comfort, delay, and excuses. Behind that door is stagnation, frustration, and regret. The other door is filled with effort, sacrifice, and commitment. Behind that door is progress, achievement, and pride. Which door you walk through is determined not by your wishes, but by your actions. Action is the currency of success. Without it, your dreams remain nothing more than fantasies floating in your imagination. Empty wishes sound good, but do nothing for you. They give a temporary sense of hope, but they rob you of real growth. A person can say, "I wish I were healthier," while continuing to ignore exercise and diet. Another can say, "I wish I were financially free," while still wasting money and avoiding work. Someone else may say, "I wish I had more discipline," while spending hours scrolling through distractions. Wishing changes nothing because wishing requires nothing. It is action that demands energy, focus, and consistency. Relentless action means doing what you said you would do, even when it no longer feels convenient. It means showing up when you are tired, pushing forward when motivation is low, and keeping promises to yourself when no one else is watching. It is not about waiting for the perfect time. It is about creating results with the time you have right now. If you take daily action, even small steps, the compound effect of those steps transforms your life in ways wishing never could. Look at anyone you admire. Their success did not come from sitting still and imagining greatness. It came from relentless action, day after day, year after year. Athletes train through pain. Entrepreneurs work through failure. Writers and creators keep producing when no one is paying attention. The common thread is not luck or even talent. It is the refusal to rely on wishes and the choice to act with persistence. Wishing is easy, and that's why most people settle for it. Action is demanding, which is why only a few rise above. When you choose action daily, you separate yourself from the majority. While others are talking about what they want, you are building it. While others are making excuses for why they can't, you are proving that you can. Every act of discipline is a deposit into the future you want to live. Relentless action also means you do not allow setbacks to stop you. Wishes die the moment difficulty appears. Action adapts, adjusts, and moves forward despite obstacles. If a plan fails, action looks for a better one. If progress is slow, action keeps going until momentum builds. The person of action treats failure not as a sign to quit, but as a lesson to grow stronger. Wishing waits for things to be easy. Action thrives when things are hard. You must train yourself to see each day as an opportunity to move forward, not as another chance to delay. The day you waste wishing for better is a day you could have invested in building better. If you act daily, the future you imagine gets closer and closer. If you waste daily, the future you fear grows stronger. The life you want is not waiting for you somewhere down the road. It is being built right now with your decision. Relentless action is not about doing everything at once. It is about doing something every day. You do not need to run a marathon today, but you can put on your shoes and walk. You do not need to write a book in a single night, but you can write one page. You do not need to change your entire life in one moment, but you can commit to one choice that moves you forward. The small, consistent acts are what build unstoppable momentum. Another truth is that action creates clarity. Many people don't know what they want because they never act long enough to discover it. Wishes keep them stuck in their head, but action shows them what works, what doesn't, and what excites them. You cannot think your way into success, you must act your way into it. Action reveals opportunities that wishes can never uncover. When you make action your daily standard, you remove the gap between desire and achievement. You stop talking about what could be and start living what is possible. People may doubt you, circumstances may challenge you, and fear may try to hold you back. But none of those forces are stronger than consistent action. If you keep moving forward, nothing can keep you from progress. Wishing delays life. Action accelerates it. Wishing keeps you dependent on luck. Action puts control back in your hands. Wishing makes you hope someone else will rescue you. Action makes you your own rescuer. The choice is clear. Either you spend your life in the comfort of wishes, or you rise each day with the courage to act relentlessly. The truth is, no one remembers what you wished for, but everyone will see what you built. The mark you leave on this world will not be determined by your hopes, but by your actions. Each day is a chance to prove to yourself that you are serious about growth. So stop waiting for inspiration, stop depending on luck, and stop holding on to empty wishes. Step into action today, tomorrow, and every day after. That is the only path to a life of strength, freedom, and fulfillment.